Today's video is all about protein bars. I get questions about this a lot, so I'm gonna go through my favorite kinds, ones that are mediocre when you're in a rush, and ones that you should just completely avoid. Okay, so like I said, today's video is all about protein bars because this is maybe one of the most common questions I get asked, and ever since I did my fake healthy food video, which I will link below if you guys wanna check that out, you guys have been asking me to do one on decoding protein bars. So these are often a fake healthy food because so many times you think, oh, it's a protein bar, and especially because there's such a protein craze that it's automatically healthy. But a lot of them are just kind of glorified candy bars. So I wanna go through how to find one and what to look out for and when to know if they're healthy or not. So there's different categories. If you wanna go super, super clean, which is like the healthiest ones, sometimes these actually end up looking less healthy when you look at just the nutrition facts and are looking at sugar, fat, and carbs. But I want you guys to start learning to think about health on a bigger scale. So you're not just looking at the numbers and you're actually thinking about what the ingredients are. So for me personally, if I have a choice, like let's say I'm at Whole Foods or like Erewhon, which is a place in LA, it's an amazing grocery store in LA, I will look at the ingredients and find the cleanest one. These are two examples of bars that you can find that are super clean. The best option is if you find one that's almost like a little homemade. Let's say it's like a small juice shop and they have one with like 4 ingredients, like almond butter, oats, cacao, and like, who knows, like almonds or something. And anything where it's like 4 or 5 simple ingredients. These are good examples of a little more of like a common one that you might find at other grocery stores. This one is called the No Junk Protein Bar. These do come in vegan and non-vegan versions, so some of them have whey. I don't recommend the ones that aren't vegan because they do use milk product, which I just don't think is clean on its own. So dairy, I'd always recommend avoiding. This one's a vegan peanut butter chocolate chip. Everything on here, you know what it is. It's like apple juice concentrate, organic dark chocolate, organic peanut butter, pea protein, dates. It goes on. It's pretty good. Probably one of, well, if you hear a little dog walking around in the background, I apologize. I'm watching my friend Erica's dog. Anyway, this is a pretty good one to stick to. Another pretty clean one is this one. It's called Elemental. This is a dark chocolate peanut butter one. Again, it's got buckwheat, cocoa butter, honey, coconut, flaxseed. So ingredients that you know where it's not something you can pretty much tell when an ingredient is like manufactured and you don't know what it is. These are the best ones to stick to. One thing I want to point out is when you're looking at any kind of nutrition label or any protein bar, the order of the ingredients is something you really need to pay attention to. The first ingredient is usually the one that's in like most concentration. This is also a great rule of thumb, by the way, for like juice. If you get, if you go paying for like an organic juice and you see like water, or even like if it's all green and it says apple as the first ingredient, you know it's gonna be mostly like sugar in it. So always pay attention to the first ingredient. So those are 2 examples of the super clean one. I also wanna share this Larabar. This is actually, if I had to pick like the most clean, simple, like go-to, Larabar is personally my favorite. Some of them just have 3 ingredients. Some of them have like 4 or 5, but the base of these ingredients are dates. So dates is gonna make it up. It's kind of what forms it. This one's literally just dates, peanuts, and sea salt. And the flavor is like peanut butter cookie. So the peanuts obviously make it taste like peanut butter. Now, if you just looked at the back of this one, the sugar on it is 17 grams. And then we take something like Think Thin and the sugar is 0. Automatically you would think like, oh, this is the best one because it has high protein and no sugar, but we're gonna get to this and go through the ingredients and you'll see that it's just so much junk. I promise you it's doing you more harm. Also, types of sugar are super important. So if you're eating a whole food form of sugar, whether it's fruit that's full of fiber or dates, the glycemic index, which is basically how long it takes for your blood sugar to rise, that's important. These natural forms of sugar are not gonna spike your blood sugar, so it's still a better choice. So for me personally, I'd rather eat like this bar that has 3 ingredients with dates and 17 grams of sugar than something that was so chemically produced, is so foreign to our body, can cause like an inflammatory response and all sorts of things just because it has higher protein. So those are our clean bars. These are like the mediocre bars. I like to call these airport bars because if you're like in a rush at an airport, I mean, especially if you're like in a random city or even in a foreign country and you don't know what to eat, Go Macro and Clif Bars are kind of my go-to. They're pretty clean, they're cold processed. The Go Macro one has pretty good ingredients in it. You can look at the back. like peanut butter, protein blend. You know, the things that I'm not crazy about is like the organic brown rice syrup, organic cocoa. I prefer things that have cacao. But like I said, I wanted to make this video to give 3 different levels because we don't always have the option of going and just finding like the perfect bar or the perfect food. So me, myself, like I always eat a Clif Bar on planes when I'm stuck if I have nothing else to eat because I'd rather eat this than like plain food. Oftentimes plain food isn't plant-based, so this is usually go-to. If I was really prepared, I would pack my own food, but on the days that I don't, or if I'm traveling a lot, this is what I'll go with. The next one I want to talk about is RX Bar. And to be honest, I don't really know what category this falls into. I might even say it's still in the medium, but I just want to point out one thing that you guys should really pay attention to. I feel like this has gotten so much, like almost like great review because it's so clean and easy and healthy. Because when you look at it, it's like 3 egg whites, 14 peanuts, 2 dates, no BS. So I feel like that's making you think that's all that's in the actual product, but it's not. If you actually look in the back, it's dates, peanuts, egg whites, chocolate. Doesn't go into detail about what kind of chocolate. Natural flavors, which literally could mean anything from 0 to a million. Sea salt and cocoa. So I don't like how misleading it is. That's almost like taking a burger and being like, ingredients, sea salt, onions. Oh, I forgot to tell you, there's also beef in it. Like you can't do that and like expect someone to just think that these are the actual ingredients. So never ever just look at the front of it. Always look at the back and you can make your decision. Is this the absolute worst thing? No, because these have natural flavors too, but it's still not as good as one of these that has more ingredients, probably more sugar, but is all like clean whole food ingredients. So I'd say this kind of falls in between like the medium. We'll keep it at medium. It's not horrible. These ones I would probably steer clear from. This is a Think Thin high protein bar. I used to live off these before I was vegan because now they have a plant-based one, but they never used to. I loved that it was 0 sugar and 20 grams of protein. I thought that was everything. And it's funny because I've even like through my own like health and wellness journey, like I started out not knowing, like to me, first you think like this is healthy and I thought I was doing the right things, but you learn and evolve as you grow. So you shouldn't have to feel bad about it, but just as you go, you learn more things and like how, you know, the right way of eating healthy. This one has a protein blend as the first thing, which is whey protein isolate, soy protein isolate, casein, calcium caseinate, and then it has a coating with palm kernel oil, more whey protein, natural flavor, ground peanuts, I mean, it just goes on and on. There's so much bad in this one that I would avoid something that starts also with whey protein isolate. And if you're using whey protein, why do you have to use soy also? Because a lot of times soy protein isolate is in plant-based bars, but it's kind of like, well, if you have nothing else to eat, you eat it. But if you're already using whey, I'm not really sure why they have to add both. But sometimes, like unfortunately, when brands are making products, your health isn't really at the top of their priority and they're more so just thinking about how to make it taste good, how to, you know, do it less expensive and just how to get it out there and manufacture it. So the next one I wanted to talk about is Zing. I'm gonna read you the ingredients in the back. Kind of similar, peanut flour, whey protein crisps, whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, sunflower lecithin, whey protein isolate again. There's whey protein listed at least like 7 different times in here. Cocoa flour, organic agave syrup. We've talked about agave before. Agave is just basically as bad as cane sugar. So I know we thought it was healthy, but it really wasn't. So one thing to know about whey protein, the reason it's used so much or sometimes even used repeatedly is because it has a tendency to, when you eat it, make you think you're full, but then you will be hungry later. It's not actually giving you like the proper fuel that your body needs to actually like heal and function and go on through your day. So even though it might be filling in the moment, it's really not gonna do you any good long term. So I would just recommend avoiding anything with whey protein in general because there's so many amazing sources of plant-based protein. One thing I like about these is that they use pea protein, or they'll use like organic buckwheat or quinoa or natural sources of plant-based protein that will just keep you healthy and full. So like I said, the cleaner and the more simple you can go, the better. If wherever you live, whatever city it is, if you happen to have like a cool like local juice bar or smoothie shop and they make their own, I personally always go for those. The more whole ingredients, the better your body will react to it. If you don't have that option, these are good. I think I've also done a video I can post about making your own at home, little things you can do, but that's just kind of my spiel on protein bars. Of course, sometimes we just have nothing else to eat and they are good options, but at least you know what you're eating and you're always aware. I think that's half the battle, is understanding what you're putting into your body. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.